Well, as you know, there was a decision made pertaining to the station agent's lunch relief. Um, it's really a stay of execution. I was sitting there in the AM meeting, and the situation was that I sat there and I was very happy because the lunch relief positions were saved. No one lost that position. But again, the decision requires the MTA to notify the community board and public hearing, and that is what they were happy about, I guess. But we're back to square one. What you say, Charlie?
So basically, the judge's decision is that he wants he wants the MTA to hold hearing so that way they can get I guess the public involved. Is that correct?
Yeah, I guess the situation is that they want the public to know that there will be no one there for 30 minutes. So that means if you're handicapped, you're going to have to find a way to get in, or you have to wait until the station agent comes back on duty, because they're not going to use the CTA to be opening up the doors for people. And they're not going to leave the gate open.
That is funny, because I could have sworn for the past couple of months I've been saying to the union itself, get the public involved, okay? And they will say, no, let's write G2s. Getting the public involved isn't going to work. Well, you know what? Look on Facebook. You can look at a certain person's Facebook answers to me and telling me that the public, that's something that they shouldn't do. And now, guess what? That's what the judge recommended. Get the public involved.
Yeah, basically, the judge is the one that won this case. He sided for the ridership and the union, but he sided for the ridership. Okay. Now, again, a win is a win, but this is a reprieve.
Well, it's not actually a win, because to me, it's just let's just put it this way. I'll give you there was a football game in I think it was 1975, Steelers and Raiders. Okay. Raiders are winning the game. I think there's like 6 seconds left in the game. Terry Bradshaw throws a pass to Frenchie Fuca. And the ball bounces off him. Well, actually off Jack Tatum. Franco Harris picks it up and runs in for a touchdown, for the game-winning touchdown.
Right.
Okay. That was a fluke victory. Bradshaw wasn't aiming for Harris. It landed in Harris's lap. Okay. This is what happened with this decision. It wasn't that the union won it. It was that the judge handed it to them. So to call it a victory, no. It was a judge who gave us the victory. He handed it to us. And it's not really a victory, like I said, because
it's a decision in our favor.
Yeah, exactly. And after they have these hearings, the MTA could still get rid of these lunch relief jobs.
And see, that's the scary part. We have Brother Staley coming in. That's the scary part, in that which the MTA can turn right back around. The MTA can turn right back around and say, hey, look,
No. Calm down. Wait.
We're basically, we can do whatever we want to. Welcome, Brother Staley. We're live, sir.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Welcome, Brother Staley. We're live.
Okay.
We're talking about the lunch relief situation. Charlie had mentioned to the whole point that even though they had a decision that was in favor, the MTA can turn around and just do whatever they want. What you say?
That don't sound too good to me. I've seen and some of them defy court orders before, and I wouldn't be surprised if they try it. But I think they'll abide by whatever decision that was made. I think they will.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think that this decision do you think the decision will help the lunch relief situation, or will it go through the public hearings and we'll be back to square one where there'll be no more lunch relief positions?
No, I don't even I don't even care about that issue about them having public hearings concerning that. The bottom line is that the lunch relief has been part of the job description and part of the part of the way that the department has been operating for years, and the lunches are there for a reason. Leaving the booth. I think one of the decisions is the fact that I'm leaving the booth. So if the judge made the decision directly because of leaving the booth empty, I wouldn't care if they did public hearings, because that you're still going to have an empty booth, even if you do public hearings. So it's going to still go against the decision that the judge made. More than likely, the judge made it because of the booth being empty and because of the ride in public, and that vulnerability to the public being there at an empty booth. So even if they did public hearings, you're still going to have the empty booth, which is probably what he didn't want in the first place. So even if they did public hearings, I think it'll just be another battle. But I think they're going to prevail again in the long run, because that if that was the specific issue from him making his decision, that booth being empty for that time that that station agent is on lunch, it doesn't change. Even if they do public hearings, you're still going to have that empty booth for that length of time. And his judgment or his decision was part, in fact, about the booth being empty.
Brother Charlie, what you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's just a temporary solution. Eventually, let's put it this way. I honestly don't see a lot of the public coming out when it comes to these hearings. The public has never come out in the masses. Let me just also point out that for months I've been saying, well, when we stopped, and you were part of this, Kenny, and so was Anthony. When we went out there along with the guys from Local 100 Fight Back,
yes,
we gave out flyers. We talked to the public. We spent our time, our free time, and we were able to stop those booth closures. Okay, and we did it. We were only a band of maybe 8 of us, and we managed to do it. This union had the opportunity since the summer. They knew about this since the summer, that they could have done something. They could inform the public, and they refused. And I brought it up numerous times to them, and they kept shooting down that idea. And now, since the judge is recommending that they go to the public and have these public hearings, now the union wants us to go out there and try to get the public involved. Huh? Wasn't I saying that 6 months ago? They killed 6 months. 6 months ago.
Well, I that every station agent, because this is affecting us, I recommend every station agent, if you have the opportune time, to show up to these public hearings and make your voice known. Okay, we have got to fight for these positions. What good will it do? We won't know until it goes through, because we have to go to the whole point of the judge again, I guess, right? Because after the public hearing, you have to go to the judge again, correct?
This is what I want to ask. Did you see the total decision, what he based this decision on?
I read bits and pieces of it. All I did was wrote down the logistics of it, in that which there's going to be community board hearings and things of that nature. After that, I
So wait a minute. So he based this decision on them not having public hearings. Then that's what you're saying.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, all right. Then that's a different from what I was saying earlier. It's totally different now, because I wasn't privy to the information, all I heard that the case was won. Okay, so he basically based it on the fact that they didn't have public hearings, and that they're ordering them now to have public hearings. Then that's basically
Correct.
what you're saying.
Right, because basically what he's saying is that the interpretation I'm understanding is that you're not going to have somebody there So when the public comes down, they're coming down to an empty booth, and they were not notified that this was going to happen. So you got to have the public hearings to let the public know the action of the MTA. So this is the reason why I'm saying station agents they must come to these hearings, and they have to speak out. You know, these are our jobs, 185 positions, I think it is. So these are our jobs for us to fight for. The union can only do so much. We've got to do the other part if it's possible.
Okay.
Well, but the union
ahead,
had
sir.
an opportunity. Like I said, they had an opportunity 6 months ago. It's not something that they weren't aware of, because 3 years ago, like I said, we helped save those booths from being closed, and we only a band of 8. The union could have mobilized and gotten the public involved. And I mean, they could have given to the station agents, flyers to give out to the customers. But no, they didn't do that. They didn't do any. They haven't done a damn thing. This union hasn't done a damn thing to stop these lunch relief jobs from being shut down. All they did was take it to court. I mean, there was so much that they could have done. I mean, they could have used the internet. They could have used radio. Tony Utano can get on Winston 10 and do his little commercials. Well, you know what? How about making a commercial and informing the public, hey, they want to close the booth down for an hour and a half every day. Do you feel safe if they do that? I mean, there's a lot of ways to get this information across, and the union hasn't done it.
Kelly, what you say?
Well, and that's true. That's true. Um, I feel that it would be better. Would be better served if even if the station agents were to participate and speak out concerning the jobs, right? And take it in, and the argument would be past practice, and also the fact that the issue of having somebody in a booth at all times, would be the argument that's given by the workers. On the public side of it, if you could get public participation, it would be directly correlated to safety, and be able to have them, even though everybody keep hollering about using the booth, using the machine, the fact that they still have somebody in the booth, even though they use the machine, it's totally different from using the machine and you got an empty booth.
Well, for the station agents, now we're going to have to change how we do things. But we really can't change how we do things if we're still in the booth. Because, when people need help, we can't just arbitrarily leave the booth, help them with the MVMs, and then go back in. Okay? So they're going to have to do something. If they're talking about going to customer service to the next level, then they're going to have to do something to the whole. But there's no more money in the booth. Okay? I don't think money is going to be coming back. Okay? So the situation is that it's going to be now customer service. So how do you take a workforce, okay, that's primarily dealt with money, and now all of a sudden you take the money out? The only thing that we can do is customer service. But now, since we're not allowed to come out the booth to help the customers, so how do we do customer service? Yelling at somebody, press that button, press it. No, that's not customer service. That's yelling at a customer.
It's ridiculous. They basically got handcuffs on you guys, on the station agents.
Yeah.
Like I said before, you're damn if you do and you're damn if you don't. You try to help out the customer by coming out of the booth, you get in trouble.
Yes.
And then if you're yelling, well, you don't want to yell, but sometimes you have to because they can't hear you.
Right.
You're being rude. You can't win. And then you get written up too. Let's look at the other side. You get written up. Somebody takes a picture of you, and say, oh, he was yelling at me. Well, he wasn't yelling at you. The mic didn't work, and you're telling the person, hey, you're trying to give him information. Oh, no, he was rude to me. Here's his badge number, and right away you get written up. So station agents are being punching bags. They're being scapegoats, and management isn't doing anything about it, and neither is the union. And I feel sorry for station agents because the abuse that you guys are taking, I witnessed it plenty of times since they took the money out of the booth, is ridiculous. I praise you guys because how none of you have flipped out. It baffles me because the abuse is just too much.
Well, thank you for that. But it's about to get a little bit more crazy now, because if they're talking about us doing customer service, you can't do customer service from inside of the booth. So they have to give us the ability to leave the booth, to come outside to help, then to go back in. And they're not giving us that ability. So if they're not giving us that ability, how are we going to do customer service? Because customer service is going to be the key now. That's going to be the key now. So,
but this is what I don't understand, because that's exactly what Wayfinders were for, and they removed the Wayfinder program.
Yes,
So
I was a part of that program, and when we found out that we weren't a part of the program, it was supervision that told us that we were not a part of the program. Okay, supervision told us that we were going back to the booth. And that's when I called Kelly, and Kelly was on speakerphone. He told the Wayfinders, yeah, we're going back to the booth. Okay, so if you want the station.
Hold on a second.
I'm listening.
You were informed by management, not the union, that Wayfinder program was being scrapped?
I walked into the 42nd Street Wayfinder room, and there was a whole bunch of Wayfinders looking at me like, you know, we're going back to the booth. Did you hear about that? I'm like, no, I just walked in just like you guys. The supervisor was on the phone and said, I quote, yes, program done. You're going back to the booth. Okay, you're going extra. Okay, so I'm in the room. These individuals are looking at me and they're saying, Kenny. I'm like, oh, I'm not the one in charge. I called Kelly on speed dial, and he told about at least 20 to 25 Wayfinders that were there that, yes, we are going back to the booth, and that was it. It was the same thing with the cash being taken out of the booth. I'm in the booth. I get a call from a lady from Main Street. They're taking the booth out. They're taking the money out of my booth. I said, come on, call the union. That's not right. Management does things, and the union just responds.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting that you brought up the way you found out about the Wayfinder program, because wasn't it Richard in one of his videos that said that Derek, the current station's chairman, Derek Echeverria, didn't follow up on the Wayfinder program. He left him 3 pieces of paper. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he left Richard, when he came into office, 3 pieces of paper, and the video's out there. And one of them was an expired Wayfinder. I guess I'm not going to call it a contract, but it was an agreement. Exactly, an agreement.
That
right.
was totally. Yes, he did have 3 sheets of paper, but Derek wanted the Wayfinder program to continue. Okay, he wanted that program to continue. It was the new administration that when they got there, they didn't fight for another agreement. You know what I'm saying?
So both are to blame, because not one of them was able to get management to go along with this agreement.
Well, Derek was out. Derek was already out. He lost the election. It was in Richard's hand.
Right, but when what Richard said, and I got the video, and I can post it up again. Richard said that Derek left him an expired agreement.
Right.
Okay. So how long was that expired before Richard got it? That's what I need an answer to that one.
Yeah, I would have to look into that, because I don't know. I know that we were operating with an expired agreement for a while, and it was at the mercy of New York City Transit Authority, at MTA, that we were doing what we were doing. Okay, and when they decided it was over, but we got no heads up that we were going back to the booth. There was rumors and innuendos that the program was over, but it was just rumors and innuendo. When I walked in, it was a definitive, you're done. And I'm like, wow, okay, how come no one is telling us? And see, this is going to be the procedure. The MTA does what they want, and then we, the members, find out from the MTA.
The other thing is, you mentioned the money in the booth. Well, didn't Kelly Witchett and Utano take credit for taking the money out of the booth?
Well, they use it as a safety concern.
As a safety concern, but yet banks, stores, every other business was taking cash. And to this day, they still take cash. And to
Yes.
this day, they haven't stopped taking cash. Not one day.
Well, I think it was you that pressed Derek on the whole point of that he didn't press to go into that with Sarah Feinberg when they had that little thing.
Right.
Okay, yeah. But I spoke to him about that, and he said he did press, but she muted him. In essence, she muted him.
I didn't see that. I didn't. I should have.
Well, that's what the man said. He said that he
wait a minute. Wait. I thought Richard and them had made the claim for safety precaution because of COVID that they were the ones that offered to made the offer to TA to remove the money from the booth.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So if it was and if it was offered by them and TA jumped on it, then that's where your problem came at, because see, for years TA wanted to take the money out of the booth and wanted a reason to do it, and they gave them the reason by claiming safety. But in the meantime, from children running to the stores with money till adults running to stores with money, and the money being taken by stores. I mean, it could have been the same way it always been. Yeah, most station agents were using gloves anyway. You know, so between sanitizers and gloves, there wasn't enough safety precaution there for them to continue having cash in the booth. Because remember, Long Island Railroad and Metro North, they still handling money themselves.
Yeah.
Well, Mrs. Tawana Jordan at the Thursday morning meeting, she pressed that issue in that which the money was taken out, but there was no written letter on when it would return. You know what I'm saying? There was nothing written down. You know, you take the money out on the 11th and we'll return it, let's just say, in about 7 or 8 months. It was like the money's out, and because there was no written, it was just they can do what they want. And she pressed that issue, and it didn't really go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Because there is out there a video with Kelly saying point blank, I took the money out. You know what I'm saying? Money was taken out and we were the ones that did it. So the situation is very, very clear. It's out there, but now all of a sudden it's like, wait. It was a safety issue, So I don't know.
I mean,
but my question is, how much of a safety issue is it? Is every store, corner store, and everybody else is handling money themselves?
What agents,
what they did was take your jobs.
That's it.
Away from you, and left y'all out there, dangling out there, giving TA the option to do whatever they chose to from this point on, because that was the next one of the steps going towards almost putting in a system similar to what they have in London, where you just go in and you just use the machine and then you just jump on and then you just go on and get on the train. But the bottom line is people don't realize that New York is different. It's different, and the environment is different. Totally different. And that what works over there doesn't necessarily have to work here, or will work here.
The union is banking on anything that the MTA is about to do to the stations department is going to fail, and we're going to get everything that we're supposed to have back. In essence, what they're saying is this: let the MTA do whatever they want to. It's going to fail. It's going to fail. The Omni is going to fail. Only reason why is because every time you tap your little Metro, your credit card, that's interest. Okay, some people walking past, they get charged once, twice because they're walking past, and they get charged double. So the union is banking on the fact that whatever the MTA is about to do is going to fail, and we're going to win. That's what they're banking on.
I mean, if they're
Well,
banking on that, then
listen,
That's what they're banking
that's a
on.
hell of
I'm
a role
speechless if that's what they're
because
banking on.
yeah,
They're
that's a
banking on
hell
the
of a role.
MTA
I
is going
mean,
to implement
you're
it.
going to
The
put
MTA is going to.
everybody's job on the line like that and roll the dice with everybody. You're not just talking about one person's job. You're talking about every 2,000 or 3,000 station agents that
Yeah.
there are.
Well,
You're
look,
Mhm.
rolling the dice with everybody's job. Number one.
yesterday, look, they had the SCARS program. It didn't work. Had to go back to square one. Wayfinder program didn't work. Had to go back to square one. So they're banking on the fact that whatever the MTA puts towards the stations department, it's not going to work. It's going to be in our favor, and that's a roll of a big dice. That's a roll of a very, very big dice. Because what happens if they just say, look, Omni is here. We have the HPI. That's going to work. We have some. We just got to move on to something else.
Let
Yeah,
me
but
also point. Let me also point out that I haven't been to too many meetings lately because I work Thursdays. Okay, but the only I went to a meeting a couple of months ago, and I specifically called out Kelly about removing money from the booth, and his answer was, well, I'm if I was able to save somebody's life by doing that, then I have no regrets. Okay, now I'm paraphrasing there, but that's exactly what he actually said. Okay, well, first of all, Kelly's not a doctor. Kelly doesn't know how to prevent the virus from spreading, and he's not even sure if the virus is being transmitted through money. That hasn't been proved. That has never been proven.
But
Okay,
allegedly, enough station agents were complaining about the money coming in that it was a
but
health hazard. So, you know,
when okay, I'm glad you said that. How many station agents and CTAs and how many employees were complaining about us getting a lousy raise? Okay, did we get a good raise after that? No, never. Every time we complain, we never got any results. All of a sudden, when it comes to something like this, the MTA says, "Sure, I mean, we gotta help. We gotta help our workers. They're demanding something. Let's give it to them." No, that doesn't fly with me.
agreed.
yep.
Agreed.
Yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
And
because
one thing is
basically they played into the MTA's
that's
hands
exactly.
because they've been after the money for the longest.
when they
And
saw
they,
when they saw management agree to something that quick, they should have known something was up and should have gone back to the table and said, "Wait a minute, hold on. Before we agree to this, we need to know when we're going to bring this money back because we need to keep these people employed." Okay, they should have looked at it from a monetary standpoint because the union makes money off our backs. Okay, without those people working, then they're going to lose a substantial amount of money. And next year, remember, we're not guaranteed, especially station agents, they're not guaranteed jobs after this year.
now let me
Uh,
ask you a question because this question was posed to me last night, and I'm gonna put it out there. If they said that they would offer the station agents a no layoff clause instead of having the money in the booth, is that a good thing?
okay, how long is it permanent? Is it a permanent no layoff clause? Because if it is, I'll say I would go for it only if it's permanent. But if
Okay,
it's not permanent and it just for the duration of the contract, no, I wouldn't do
okay.
it.
Because that was offered to me last night in that which, okay, look, money in the booth, no layoff clause. Now, like you said, if it's permanent, then we can work with it. But if it's just for the duration of the contract,
Yeah, what about when the contract expires? You're out. I
right,
mean,
exactly. So, I mean, there's going to be some wheeling and dealing going forward with this thing.
oh, no doubt, no doubt. I'm sure there's talks behind the scenes on how to save face both on both parties. They want to save face. The union is, they claiming victory. Meanwhile, the MTA is, I mean, they already have their wheels spinning. As a matter of fact, they were thinking ahead in case they lost.
Well, the whole point is just the station, well, the union itself, I can't just talk about this, the station department. The union itself is playing checkers. The MTA is playing chess.
Well, even if the MTA was playing checkers, they're beating the union. The union doesn't know how to play checkers. You know, they're trying to do double jumps when they're in skipping spaces. You know, so um, they just don't know how to play checkers. Chess, you're giving them too much credit. They don't know how to play chess.
Stanley, what you say?
Uh, yeah, I just think it's been too many people after other people that's been in this department that just didn't cut it, that just didn't do the work, and these cats don't know how to respond. Um, I mean, you got to fight them the way they fight you, and the union has been behind, like they still looking at them like they're their bosses, and they're not. You're on level with these guys, so you're taking the strength of the union away
Well,
when you keep looking at these people as your bosses. You know, you're taking the strength away. You're supposed to be able to say what you need to say, and mean what you say, and that's not happening here. And they're not fighting. You know, you're not fighting the fight, man. You gotta fight. You gotta let them. You know, it's an intellectual fight, and even if you're not capable of it, you should be picking up a book and understanding the process, representing people. You're the union. You're a union rep. What kind of strength that you have when it comes to dealing with management? We lay down too much. We lay
Well,
down too much.
when you have recyclables and
retreads.
retreads, yes, exactly, who do the same thing over and over. Well, after a while, you get used to it, and you know what their plans are and the way they think, and you counter. You know how to counter, and that's exactly what management does. They bring in new people. Have you noticed? It's not always the same people that are fighting the union. It's always different people.
Yeah, people
Yet
move on. Yeah.
the union continues to have these retreads and recyclables and people with old fashioned ideas, and I mean, and lazy incompetence. I mean, I can go on and give them other names, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. People who just are there just for release time and to get a good salary. That's it.
Well, as I always do, I always ask to have a word to the stations department. So, Stanley, I'm going to start off with you. A word to the stations department because they're listening, sir.
Uh, we need we need to do our due diligence here. We need to just stop talking about it and be about it. You know, get out there and act like we want these jobs. A lot of people are sitting back and just thinking that let it come as it goes, and they're not going to really feel the pain until that day come when somebody walks up and tell them, well, listen, you know, we need your badge and pass. You no longer need it, and then that's when it's going to hit home. You know, where's the union, and all the other questions that follow behind that. But we need to. This here is a shot. You won. You won something, and you should jump on that momentum and carry it through to the next fight. That's the bottom line. Carry it through to the next fight. It's an opportunity, and not just sit back and because we have a tendency to let other people do the fighting for us, and we don't even support the people that are fighting for us, and that should change. That should change.
Okay, Mr. Munez, final word to the stations department. They're listening.
Yeah, we need to band together. We need to go in a new direction with new people. Um, it's time to move on. I mean, the past is the past. You can't live in the past, and this union is living in the past. And we're not going to move forward unless we all band together and form a uh, a coalition to just move forward. Move forward. Leave the bad behind, and bring the strong to the front. There's a lot of strong people out here. I mean, I'm talking to two of them right now. Um, There's a lot of strong people, and they may not realize that they're strong. But if they want to come on board, come on board with us. You got 3 strong guys here who aren't afraid. We speak our minds. We speak from the heart. We're not afraid, and I hope that other people come join us, and we're all fighters. So I say anybody who wants to fight, come join us. We'll be there for you.
Thank you. Well, my final word is this. Today was a good day in that which the lunch release positions were saved temporarily as it is. As Mrs. Lunt said, Band-Aid effect. We'll be dealing with that another time. It is time for everyone in the stations department to band together and begin the process of doing what is necessary. These public hearings that are coming up, everyone in the stations department needs to be a part of it, okay? Everyone. We have to begin the process, as Staley always says, we have to fight for our jobs. That's what we have to do. We can no longer say, what is the union doing? What are we doing? We have to fight for our jobs. We have to begin the process of understanding the rules and regulations and our contract. It amazes me how so many station agents and CTAs don't have the contract. When you are first hired, the first book you get is from the MTA. The union doesn't give you the contract, and that should be a no-no. When you get hired, you should have the MTA Blue Book and also the contract, whether it's on the book form or the CD form, you should have that. Why? Because this is what you are, a union member. This is what you are, a union member. And that's about it.